All right, everyone. Chelsea Clinton has decided to write a book, and the topic should give us an indicator that there's a high degree of chance she's prepping to enter politics. Now, I don't think she'll ever run for the presidency. If she did, I don't think it'd be a threat to the country or anything. There's too much baggage on the Clintons at this point. I do think she's likely to try to enter the legislature, probably the Senate, because remember, her mom has already served as a New York senator. Once there's an opening or a weak Republican incumbent to deal with, she'll probably jump in, knock him out, grab it up without too much trouble, specifically because she is female, liberal, and a Clinton. This is how you set the stage. Right now, there's nothing apparently she wants to run for, so she's trying to keep her name in the news and probably try to do some things that distance her actually from her parents a bit. Like literally, just being a Clinton alone could be seen as not as much a good thing as a bad thing in politics at this point. But if you write a happy-go-lucky book to talk about how much you want to save the whales, how can you possibly go wrong? Here's the thing. It's always funny that the people lecturing us on environmentalism are the people most toxic to the environment. People who have, business ties over in China or something, and that spew out, heavy metals and smog and all that shit. People that have fifth homes and their own private jets and a fleet of limos and stuff, and their carbon footprint's enormous. These are the people. My carbon footprint is as much as an entire African city. I'm going to lecture you on the importance of reducing your carbon footprint. It comes off as hypocritical. And ultimately, it is hypocritical. Some people give them, like with Al Gore, they get a little bit of a pass because they're paying lip service to the ideology, but it's kind of like some great, warmonger saying, oh, well, we need to stay out of this war. Okay, well, you've already killed 100,000 people, so it's a little bit odd. I do, by the way, support some aspects of environmentalism. Conserving land, I think, is important. Trying to wean the world off of what we, call fossil fuel, although it's not really, generally, oil's not really from fossils. I think it is a good idea to not strain that resource and to transfer as much as possible to increasingly efficient solar and wind. More solar than wind for the most part. Windmills have some of their own problems. And by the way, the various problems that people have with solar, a lot of them have really been addressed. If you think that it's, your grandpa's solar panels that are 5 feet thick and cost $10,000 to run a single light bulb, it's not anything like that. You can literally roll them up like a scroll now. They're as thin as a piece of paper. They've even got a kind of glass that's photovoltaic, although it's not very efficient yet. You can make windows out of it if you want. Perfectly functional. I do support conservation. I do also notice how it's funny that Chelsea Clinton would be the ones that save the white rhino, save the giraffes. I care about these animals. Well, no, you don't really, but I mean, we can see through this and say she's definitely prepping for something. The Clintons don't make it. The Clintons not going to write a book. Hillary Clinton aside, that's for money and notoriety. Chelsea Clinton's not going to say, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to write a book it's probably by a ghostwriter and publish it and talk about something that I don't have any history of actually being part of, namely any form of environmentalist movement. It's just she has a D after her name, she's associated with the left and therefore passively is part of that. But has she ever taken up the stand? Has she ever gone along with Greenpeace to chain herself to a whaling ship? Has she ever, spiked a tree with Elf or any of these other things? I'm thinking not. And the thing is, everything that she does from here on out is basically opportunism because she wants a Senate seat. That's what I predict. I think that within the next decade she'll run. She will win, by the way, when she does, probably by a significant margin. Then she'll either become a permanent senator and she'll serve 3 or 4 terms and then, sort of retire. Knowing the Clintons, though, she'll probably take a term or two and then try to run for something else and shoot herself up a notch, maybe governor of New York, mayor of New York City or something, probably more important than any randomly chosen senator for the most part at this point, being, such a big city. She'll probably try to become something like that. She'll head for the executive branch in some capacity, or if there's a Democratic administration, she might try to become an ambassador, maybe Secretary of State, although we know how that works out. Having Clintons in that position would be very funny. And of course, along the way, she's going to pick up favors because she's learning from the best. She's learning from the Clinton family, her own parents. She knows how to do this. Don't call her dumb. You might think she's evil. You might think that her priorities are screwed up or her views are wacky, but she's not a dumb person. She's been raised by people who are evil and cunning, not by people who are dumb and make stupid decisions. Now, look, the Clintons do all sorts of stuff. They get away with it all the time. But yeah, I'd make my guess would be probably a Senate seat. It's probably what she's after, at least at first. And it could be that's as far as she wants to go. She just wants to be like mommy and daddy. She just wants to be a politician, have an elected position, and then see where it goes from there. She could run for dog catcher. That'd be a funny one. She's definitely qualified for that, too. It's an interesting time. But yeah, as far as the ideology itself goes, she's a kid of the 90s. She's like the 90s first daughter, so she's definitely going to go down that route. It'll be very funny. I wonder if Loretta Lynch will help her on her campaign, or maybe what's her name there? Hillary Clinton's main Huma Abedin. That'd be a very, very funny freak show to watch for sure. It'd be funny if even the state of New York rejected it, though. It'd be funny if she runs and she's like, well, I'm a Clinton, I'm in a blue state, I'm going to win this, doesn't put in any effort, like does what her mother did, accidentally loses to a Republican in New York, then her career would be preemptively over. So I'm sure she'll work very, very hard indeed. That's about all. Peace out.